Hey guys, so I'm back again this week. This is a video I wasn't too sure I was going to make. It's a film I was like on the fence about reviewing because I didn't know if people were actually interested in hearing my thoughts about the film. But I thought, I'm pretty bored. I want to make a video. Let's talk about Brotherhood. It's the new Noel Clarke film. It is the sequel to Adulthood and Kidulthood. I grew up watching Kidulthood when I was quite young. I mean, obviously I shouldn't have, but I did. I watched it when I was fairly young, and I really, really liked it as a young sort of, well, a lot younger than this. But yeah, I enjoyed it when it first came out, and rewatching it, it's still a very good film. It's very mature. It's got a very good story. Adulthood came out, and it was less of a good film than Kidulthood. It had some issues. It had pacing issues and editing issues. You could tell it was. I think the budget was even probably lower for that one because, but it had good moments. It did. Brotherhood is the latest in the series, and it has, at first I was like, why is it getting made? There's no story for it really, but actually there was a pretty good story to tell with this one. Sam is still, he's moved on, but he's still suffering from the repercussions of the fact that he killed Trevor in the first film. And it was really interesting to follow this character because in the first film he was like the villain of the film. He was a dick. Everyone hated him. We all hated him, and we were sort of we were like on the side of Trevor and Jay and Mooney. And Sam was like the character that we were supposed to hate, and then Adulthood came along and they tried to redeem the character, and it seemed like something impossible because it seemed like he was irredeemable. He murdered the main character from the first film. It's like, why would we forgive this dickbag? And then throughout the film we actually, well, I certainly actually started to feel kind of sorry for Sam in a way. And it was weird because it's sort of one of the first times a character like this could have my sympathy, but it was there. And I actually wanted Sam to redeem himself. I actually wanted Sam to go down a good path. And obviously, for the most part, he does. And then Brotherhood came along, and he's got a family, he's got kids. The basis of the plot is that his brother, played by a different actor in this one. I know in Adulthood he was played by the actor who plays Grey Worm in Game of Thrones. In this one, he's a completely different actor, but he gets shot in the club because he's in a band. He gets shot and he goes to hospital. And a letter is left. This is the opening of the film. A letter is left saying for Sam Peel, who has obviously now moved on and has his children and he's happy now. Anyway, the letter's to Sam, and it turns out it's from well, let's call them a mob boss. I don't really want to ruin the story of the film, but obviously I'll just say Curtis is involved, obviously Trevor's uncle, and things don't go too well for Sam. That's all I really want to say because I want this film to be a bit of a. I don't want to spoil it for people that like the other films because this film it has enjoyment in it and it's definitely worth seeing if you've seen the others. So yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but what I will say is that the villain of the film, I mean, obviously Sam's not the hero of the film. He's not even an anti-hero. Sam is just a guy who wants to redeem himself, who killed someone. He's a bad person that wants to move on and be a good person, and that's all we can really say about Sam. But let's call, for the sake of film, the villain of the film. He really didn't do it for me. He was played by I don't know who played him. I've seen him before. He's a British actor, obviously. Sounds a bit Essex sort of accent, but yeah, he really didn't do it for me because he didn't serve a purpose to the plot. Really, he was there, but I feel like it should have just been Curtis and Sam, and the final standoff between Curtis and Sam. It's awesome. You do get that, and it is really good. And the thing is, what I like about both characters is that you feel for them both. Like, obviously, Sam, you feel for him. You want him to succeed because you want him to move on. You want him to be with his family and his children, and you want everything to be okay. You want the story to wrap up, but then you think about Curtis, but he had Trevor taken from him, and he wants his revenge, and you feel for Curtis as well because Trevor was such a likable character, and such a character that everyone was just. It was such a shock to me when I first saw the film that I thought that Sam should just outright be killed. Like anything that happened to him in prison, he deserved it. But then you look at both characters, and you know that Sam's trying to be a better person, but also you want Curtis to get his justice. So it's a hard film to root for two characters, but the showdown is awesome. Nothing quite as ridiculous as Adulthood, where you had a Mexican standoff with a baseball bat and a gun. I mean, that was just batshit crazy, but I loved it. Nothing like that. But what you do get is satisfying and a good end to the Hood trilogy. Obviously, Adam Deacon didn't return in this film, which was a bit of a shame. I mean, I wanted to like they don't even explain like Mooney and Jay and characters like that. They don't explain why they're not in it. Lexi from Adulthood's not in the film. But there is explanation for that, and it is quite tragic, but you can see why it's been done. But you know, there's no explanation for Sam, Jay, and Mooney, and characters like that. I wanted to see them. I know why Adam Deacon. I can understand why Adam Deacon wasn't in the film. I mean, there was a fallout between him and Noel Clarke. I get it. He didn't want to come back. Apparently, he got offered a small role. I can see why he didn't take it, but it's still a bit of a shame because I wish there was at least some explanation as to what happened to them. Maybe he died. You know, maybe he got arrested. It wouldn't surprise me either way. But I wanted him to be name dropped in the film, and I didn't get that. Which, okay, it's understandable, but whatever. Overall, yeah, the film has its issues. There are pacing issues at some points and some editing issues. Some of the editing where it was in all three films where they show a character and then they move on to another character. I liked it. When I first saw it in Kidulthood, I thought it was very interesting, but they do it a lot throughout these films and it does get a bit repetitive and boring. I wish there was something different in terms of the editing. But overall, the film is a good end to the Kidulthood / Adulthood saga, and I'm glad that it happened because with three of these films, I want Noel Clarke to move on and do something different now, but with three of these films, they do provide something good in the British film industry, and they are probably quite iconic in Britain now. So I do like that happened. I do like that we've come to an end. I do like we've wrapped up. And the wrap up, the ending of this film is good, and it's a good way to wrap up the character of Sam Peel. Whether you like him, whether you hate him, whether you want him to die, whether you want him to like succeed and have his family, either way, I feel like what was done was quite good and quite bittersweet. And I don't want to see more from this world. I think it's if any more, it would be dragged on a bit too much. But I would like to maybe like in a few years' time have maybe like a little TV sort of special just telling us what happened to Sam and everything, because I would like to know where this character goes in the future. But like I said, I don't really want to necessarily see another movie because I feel like they would ruin what this trilogy has built up. But I do think that Brotherhood is a great entry into this trilogy, and I feel like it is one of the British trilogies that people can watch and actually relate to, because it is obviously there's some ridiculous stuff that happens, but it is quite realistic in that sense. But like I do like that they brought back characters such as Henry, who last time we saw him he got bricked in the head by Plan B, and they brought back for a very small role Alyssa. I liked seeing those characters back, but the only character that felt like he was needed in this film was Henry. I felt like they just brought back Alyssa for sort of nostalgia's sake. It's good to see her, and it's good to see Trevor's daughter is actually grown up now. I mean, Alyssa does not look old enough to have a kid that age, but I did like seeing them back on the screen, and I was quite happy when we found out that they're okay. New characters such as Stormzy. I mean, Stormzy's not in it a lot, but actually I was very surprised because when I heard Stormzy was in this film, I was like, oh god, no. But Stormzy's actually very good in this film, which surprised me. I liked his role. Everyone does do a fairly good job. I mean, some of the actors is EastEnders sort of tier of acting, but what I can say is it's actually like a very, very good episode of EastEnders. Take that whatever way you will. But Yeah, I think that these films, if you're British, if you grew up, maybe if you grew up in London or something, you would appreciate them a lot. And I'm glad that we've got these films to just rewatch because I do enjoy these hood films. So you know, I was happy with Brotherhood. I was glad at the way it wrapped up. So I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what you see, remember to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.